Are you planning to visit Universal's newest park, Epic Universe? But did you know if you plan on visiting Mario Kart at 10 a.m., you're looking at a 103-minute average wait? Well, that same ride at 8 p.m., just 45 minutes. Same ride, same day, completely different experience. And Epic Universe is one of the most ambitious theme parks ever built, but in 2026, visiting for the first time requires a smart plan. And that's why in this video, we're covering the 7 most important things first-time visitors need to prioritize to avoid long lines, protect their time, and get the absolute best experience in the park for their family. And stick around because we're kicking things off with a bonus tip that you should be using from the moment you walk through the gates. Plus, tip number 4 is the strategy most first-timers completely miss, and it could cut your wait times in half. As always, I'm very excited, so let's go get started. Thank you again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, I'm about to break down 7 things first-time visitors to Epic Universe need to prioritize. And starting with my bonus tip, and this is an oldie but a goodie, I would say make sure and always download the Universal Orlando app because it is going to be your secret weapon once you get down to the parks. And as you can imagine, in a digital world, everything you kind of want to do to help prioritize will be in the app. So we're talking real-time wait times, and this is crucial for Epic Universe because if you've been doing your research online, you might have seen that some of the rides can go down at different points of the day. So the wait times definitely fluctuate a lot more at Epic Universe, and that's why the Universal Orlando app, I would say, is that much more important at this park. Another important one that we'll kind of circle back to is mobile food ordering. It definitely helps you streamline that. You want to be up on top of the show times so you don't miss the Untrainable Dragon and La Cirque Arcanus, which are 2 incredible shows. And then the other thing that I love is you can actually set alerts for when specific ride wait times drop below a certain threshold. You want to have it downloaded so you can hit the ground running. Okay, but over to tip number 1 that you want to be sure to understand when going to Epic Universe, and I would say understanding how to prioritize early park admission or rope dropping at Epic. And I would say here, one of my favorite tips, and I get a lot of hate online for it, but I always suggest to arrive well before early park admission even starts, and I always suggest to arrive 1 full hour before. Now, people come at me in the comment section and they say, well, Mike, but you're still waiting an hour. I don't understand this logic, but my theory, and I go and I do this all the time. The way I look at it is I'm not paying for that hour. I'm essentially, yes, I'm waiting an hour to get into the park, but I'm not paying for that time. I can't go on rides. I'm not missing out on shows. I'm just waiting. And by doing this, what will happen is when it's finally time to go into the park, you'll be some of the first guests in that park. And then at that point in time, because you're ahead of everyone else who's behind you, because if you show up at 9 o'clock and early park admission starts at 9 o'clock, there is going to be a huge line and you are going to be at the back of that line. So if you're at the front of the line, essentially you have your pick of whichever ride your heart desires. Now, using some of the strategies that I've picked up and learned, I'm typically able to get through 2 to 3 major attractions or major things in the parks within the first hour to hour and a half. And that's different from if you're at the back of the line. By the time you get on your first ride, you very well could have waited an hour. So it makes a huge difference, and that's why I suggest it. And so the other cool thing, and you have to understand about early park admission right now at Epic Universe, and I can't promise this, but you should always have a game plan. Even if you don't have early park admission, Universal has, and they possibly could open up Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry a little bit earlier. And so because Universal has been letting essentially people with early park admission and people without early park admission in, you need a game plan if you're going to Epic Universe. No matter what, I would still show up at Epic extremely early, even if you don't have early park admission. And I would either go straight to Battle at the Ministry if you don't have early park admission, and if they have the ride open, great, perfect. You just kind of got that much further along in your day. But if they don't have the ride open, I would just wait. I would wait there because once the ride does open up at 10 o'clock, you're going to be some of the first guests on that ride and you're getting one of the most popular rides out of the way. So as you can see, you want to be familiar with early park admission, rope dropping. It's going to help you get that much more out of your day. I have a bunch of different strategies. I did a complete video on this. Just be sure to go check out that video, but this is where we're starting for first timers. All right, number 2 is understanding the character meet and greets. So Epic Universe has some really amazing character meet and greets, and one of the most popular ones is definitely going to be meeting Toothless in the Isle of Berk. And this isn't your typical character meet and greet. This is a really full-size Toothless dragon, incredibly realistic animatronic that purrs when you pet him. And I'm not joking, my wife cried, and I have friends who I brought to Epic Universe, they have cried when they met this meet and greet for the first time. Because it is so popular, it consistently has has a 90-minute wait. And this kind of ties in with number one, but just in general, you really also need a game plan for the character meet and greets at Epic. And I would say for Toothless, if you're following my tips and tricks, typically what I recommend for families who want a balanced morning and they do have early park admission, I typically recommend to go and start out in Dark Universe, because my opinion is you can get onto both of the main rides in Dark Universe and then make it over to Toothless, to rope drop Toothless at 10 a.m. And have gotten comments, people said they followed it. It works great. I've done it myself. It has worked great. That's kind of my strategy right there. Okay, over to tip number 3. And I would say don't sleep on Dark Universe and specifically Monsters Unchained. So I really feel like Monsters Unchained, the ride itself, is probably one of the best rides in the world at this point in time. And one of the real things that makes this ride so amazing is that the Frankenstein's Manor, the standby queue itself is stunning. It has an incredible theming, has an incredible pre-show, and a story setup that we really don't see in theme parks anymore. And this is what really, I feel like, especially millennials growing up, you have fond memories, right, of going to Epcot, and we would have like really, really unique and creative IPs. And yeah, we still have Figment, right, at Epcot, but we don't get new IPs in the parks too often. And at this point, 3 Epic Universe worlds, Dark Universe is that. Dark Universe is based off of the monsters, yes, but the rides themselves are unique and created with some brand new characters that we can now kind of get into the story. And so for that reason, I'm telling you, just do not skip Monsters Unchained. Do not skip Dark Universe. It also, in my opinion, has some of the best food within the park, and even the snacks over in the Burning Blade Tavern, you're not going to want to miss them. And I would also say, if you're following my strategies, you're going to hit this pretty early in the morning, but I would also try to make some time a little bit later. As soon as it kind of gets dark, you definitely want to come back here and take in the vibes, because they are really, really cool. Okay, but now here's the strategy that most first timers completely miss, and the data backs this up big time. So over to number 4 that you definitely want to be prepared for if you're a first time visitor to Epic Universe, and I would say planning to come back to Super Nintendo World at night. And I think one of the most surprising things for me personally has been that Super Nintendo World actually has some of the highest average wait times out of all of the rides in Universal Orlando. Some days Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge can have a longer average wait time than Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. And because Super Nintendo World is included with early park admission, in my opinion, it's typically where most families go, and the data kind of backs this up. So when I looked at the data from Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, at 10 a.m. it typically has an average wait time of 103 minutes. But when you look a little bit later at night, at 8 p.m., the average wait time goes all the way down to 45 minutes. And I actually saw this myself. I went with my wife's family. We took them to Epic Universe for the first time in November of 2025, and we did not have express passes, and we got on to absolutely everything. And one of the ways we were able to do that is we came back to Mario Kart and Super Nintendo World specifically at night. And it was actually, the wait time for us was like 10 minutes. And so that's kind of when I first really started to pick this up, like, hey, yeah, this is definitely something that people should keep an eye out for. And then another one of the pros is, I would say this is also one of the cooler lands at night. It really does come to life with the lights on the blocks and the pipes, the glow of Peach's Castle. It's just a completely different vibe at night, and something that I really think you'll enjoy. So now, speaking of Super Nintendo World, tying into number 5 of what you really need to be aware of, and I'll give the tip and then we'll kind of circle back to what I would say the caveat to going to Super Nintendo World at night. But number 5, if you're a first time visitor to Epic, is I would definitely make sure that you're budgeting from the beginning, and you might want to invest in the interactive experiences. So at this point in time, there are really 2 main things. We have the power-up bands, which are for Super Nintendo World. The budget, I would say right around $45 per person, and what they do is they're essentially wristbands that link to the Universal Orlando app, and you can collect digital coins sort of by punching blocks, very similar to old school Mario games. You also can compete in challenges and track your score versus the others on the leaderboard. And then if you complete 3 of the 5 key challenges, you unlock Bowser Jr. Showdown, which is another really cool sort of interactive gameplay experience. Jump back to number 4. If you know you have young kids and you're going to do the upgrade to the power-up bands, first, if you're checking into a Universal Orlando hotel, you can get the power-up bands at most of the stores within the hotel lobby. I definitely would do that so you can hit the ground running once you get to Epic. Then, of course, if you're going to do more of the interactive gameplay, then yes, you can go and, if you're not doing rides, then go and try to spend some time within Super Nintendo World during the day or in the afternoon, so that it kind of gives you a little bit more time, because if you're coming back just at night, then yeah, you might be a little rushed, and you want to make sure you enjoy your upgrade. But there is also another upgrade that you do have to be mindful of, and that is within the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. And so we have the interactive wands, and we still have the standard interactive wand. My honest opinion is I would just just try to budget, and I would go for the second generation interactive wand. And the main reason is because that one is really now going to interact with the Universal Orlando app, and I feel like it just is going to be the better sort of gaming experience. And so with the wands, you do have spell effects that you can run around the different Harry Potter lands and cast spells. With the second generation wands, you also have enhanced spell effects. And from a budgeting standpoint, I would budget between $85 to $100 for the Generation 2 wands. But moving over to tip number 6, but before we get there, we are more than halfway done with this video, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much for checking this video out until this point. If you are enjoying it, just be sure to hit that subscribe button, as I have a lot more Universal Orlando planning videos coming out in the coming weeks. But over to tip number 6, and this is one that I think is so very important for Epic Universe, but I would make sure that you're familiar with the single rider lines at Epic. And the reason being is I did a video a couple weeks ago, and I actually broke down that majority of the rides at Epic are definitely going to be around 40 inches or taller. But I also know from helping a ton of families plan vacations to Orlando that there's no one size fits all, right? Some families have older kids, some families have a mix, which they still have young ones that might not be tall enough to go on all the rides. So the single rider line can be your sort of secret to getting through the rides quicker. And it's not guaranteed. It's important for me to note that. However, if you just have like one teenager who wants to try to go onto Stardust Racers, again, it could be a great way to just kind of get through things a lot quicker. And I would say on average, for the right ones anyway, you typically will save a little bit of time. And so at this point in time, from what we can see anyway, 7 attractions have a single rider line. And the other important thing is they are not guaranteed to have a single rider line open, but most of them typically will. So we have Stardust Racers, Hiccups Wing Gliders, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, Monsters Unchained, Battle at the Ministry, Curse of the Werewolf, and Minecart Madness. And my tip and trick on top of this one is that typically the rides with 4 guests per vehicle, so thinking Monsters Unchained and Battle at the Ministry, typically will work better than others for getting you on and off faster. However, the important thing to note, and tying into really tip number 3, is if you use the single rider line, most of the time you're going to skip the pre-shows and the queues. So for Monsters Unchained, I definitely recommend to go and wait because you don't want to miss that pre-show. It's that cool. All right, but over to the final tip, number 7, and this is one that can really save you a couple of hours within your day. And I don't see that many people talking about it, but that is stick to the quick service dining to maximize your ride time. And Epic Universe definitely has some standout food, but I feel like the full service restaurants definitely can eat up a good amount of your time. And I live in Orlando now. I go to the parks constantly. We have friends that come in. They always want to go to the restaurants and the parks. But deep down, I am born and raised New York. I still have it in my blood, and I get so impatient when we're sitting there and it takes 3 hours to get a meal. I see it firsthand, so that's why I'm talking about it. I think if you're trying to get the most out of your day, I don't see any reason why you can't be fulfilled with the quick service. I love the quick service restaurants at Epic Universe. I actually think they are probably the best quick service restaurants in all of Orlando, and we are really never disappointed with the food options. So some of our favorites are definitely going to be Pizza Moon, Oak Star Tavern, Spitfire Grill has the viral mac and cheese cones, and they also have some really like cool bowls, like rice bowls. My personal favorites though are definitely going to be Das Steakhouse in Dark Universe. Me and my wife will typically get the meatloaf, or we'll get the chicken on a skewer. And we've also had some really good experiences with La Cafe de Serene in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Now, the other thing I will say that I love about Universal's quick service compared to, let's say, Disney is when you go to a Disney quick service restaurant, you go up, you order your food or you mobile food order, and then you pretty much have to look for a table. And you know that feeling when you're standing there with a tray with all your food on it, you're trying not to spill your drink, and the kids are crying and you just want a seat, right? Universal is nothing like that. Universal, the way that their food service works, their quick service anyway, is you'll actually go and you'll find your seat first. So that means you get out of the hot Florida sun, you secure your seat, and then you order through the Universal Orlando app, and you pretty much just put your table in and they bring the food right out to you. And it's my opinion, it's full service type meals. The other thing too is, yes, of course, you can actually pick out what you want before you get to the restaurant, but you don't have to order till you get to your table and you enter your table number. And for that reason, I would just say that don't put too much emphasis on getting that full service restaurant in if you are tied for time. And the other bonus tip on top of this would be make sure you eat breakfast before you arrive at Epic Universe so you can really hit the ground running. But that is it, everyone. Those are my 7 first-timer must-dos at Epic Universe in 2026 and beyond. To recap, make sure you download the Universal Orlando app as your secret weapon. Always prioritize early park admission and having a strategy for that. And for rope dropping, understanding the character meet and greets and rope drop Toothless when possible. Do not skip Monsters Unchained. You will regret it. Always come back to Super Nintendo World at night if your plan allows. Budget budget for the interactive experiences such as the power-up bands and the Harry Potter wand, be familiar with the single rider lines, and stick to the quick service dining to get the most out of your day. And as you can see, Epic Universe is incredible, but for first timers, you definitely need a clear plan to manage the crowds, avoid long waits, especially with limited time in 2026. And if you are looking for a little bit more personalized help planning your Epic Universe vacation, from which hotel makes the most sense to building a custom itinerary for your days in the parks, be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. Our team offers free planning help, and right now we actually have a promo code that you can go use on our website to save an extra $50 off your next Universal Orlando vacation package, and that promo code's going to be MAGIC50. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe for more Epic Universe strategies coming out in the coming weeks, and I also have a ton of planning cheat sheets in the show notes that we are constantly updating as the parks evolve. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video, and until next time, I will talk to you soon.